and this is the attack into Bear Hashim. I think the British guys there are quaking like a posh duck. Okay, video number 2 and turn number 2 of Rommel's last push in our North Africa game, and we are on with Germany. Quick look at some of the British Navy, which is going to be affecting our thinking, apart from the Brits being a pest down here in Tobruk and Bear Hashim. Their Navy, they've got this one large fleet there in Sea Zone 24, which can reach the mortar convoy zone over there. And it can also reach the Tripoli convoy zone and start bashing the Axis forces coming in. We think that the Brits, and that we do know the Brits plan because we got this dual mind of ours, are going to be trying to defend the mortar convoy zone to keep getting their 15 RPs in their supply bin. The Brits have also got, however, one destroyer. It deployed on the last turn. If that joins that mortar convoy fleet, as we're calling it at the moment, with the 2 fighters that are in there as well, it's going to be a pretty potent force. The thought for the Germans, what we're going to be doing, we're finally getting around to it. We're going to be making an attack with one of those submarines into Sea Zone 3. That's for later on, and leaving one there should the attack fail by that German submarine. So initially, we're going to be doing the advanced convoy phase. We've only got these few units to advance into Tripoli, anti-tank gun, and a couple of guys there that can sit there looking all pretty and waiting to make their moves. After that, the requisition reinforcements. We decided this up ahead. 25 reinforcement points to spend. We've got infantry artillery making 20 points, plus a truck and some supplies to start moving in and across and around the board. So, combat movements, as I brought to you just slightly early on, this one submarine is going to move 1, 2, 3 and have a bash at this one British destroyer. It's a stand-up lockdown fight over there because the Germans are attacking at 4s and the Brits are defending at 4s. The more complicated, but it's actually just a very simple attack when it boils down to it, is down here off south of Tobruk. We're going to be taking one scout car with its hit and run ability, so it doesn't actually spend anything. It's going to go 1, 2, 3 and attack M&M's Mercer Matra, because we figure that whilst again this battle we're attacking light, they're defending light, but we can use our hit and run ability to get in there for this free attack, and our supply raider to steal a supply when we get there. The other thing that Germany are going to be doing is taking these 5 units into Bear Hashim, straight into this place here. I'm just going around the outside of my supply dump rather than actually moving around here. And having a go at Bear Hashim, we figure that we get into there, we're trying to surround the Brits, cut off some of their supplies, and we're using 2 planes as well in this attack, just to, because it's a completely over-the-top attack. We're going to do this easily, but so there's no hiccups. We're going to try and get them smashed in that first round of combat. So let me get everything tidied up. I'll start spending some supplies that we're going to need to make these attacks with. I can mark that one there as being used, and I'll get back to you when we get the first dice roll on the board. So the first battle we're going to be seeing is into Sea Zone 3. I think I've got the dice tray in shot there. We've got the one German submarine is going to roll in at a 4, and the one British destroyer is going to defend at a 4. And they've both missed on the first round of attacks. I've got no reason to think that they wouldn't carry on Germany attacking this one destroyer. And they both missed for a second time. Get these dice warmed up in my hands a little bit. And the Brits scored the hit. Okay, well, that's one of the reasons why we did leave this one submarine in Sea Zone 8 rather than bringing both of those in for that attack, just in case something awkward happened. You could argue whether I was right or wrong with that tactic, but that's the one we went with. So as the one German submarine comes off of there, I'll move you over now to the battle for Mercer Matruth. 1 second. So the battle here into Mercer Matruth, We've got the one supply that isn't been spent. It's just marking that trip into M&Ms. And we've got the 2 British Scout cars in there. Because they are self-sufficient, they don't have to spend supplies in defence. So Germany attacking at 2, and 2 Brits are defending at 1s. You never know your luck. It's a single attack here because the Germans have to retreat afterwards, being a hit and run. And the Brits nearly scored a hit, and so did Germany. But 2s and 3s could have been 9s and 10s. It doesn't matter. That marker comes off the board, and these guys retreat back into Sewer and just wait around there. It's a win-win attack for Germany, really, because should the Brits have had the same idea of Germany as they tried last time, or succeeded last time, in whipping around the outside, the southern edge of Tobruk and Ber Hashim, and grabbing a supply from Germany, well, this guy gets in the way now. The Brits can't do that. So that is the end of the attack into Mersa, and this is the attack into Ber Hashim. I think the British guys there are quaking like a posh duck because they're going to get themselves absolutely kicked. We've already spent the 1 supply and we used it as a marker for Germany going in. Let's start rolling their dice in this attack. The Brits are going to be spending 1 supply in defence of that place. Because if they didn't spend that supply and just retreated, similar to the attack into Messerbreg or Benghazi, whatever it was in turn number 1, they're going to get themselves kicked anyway. So they might as well spend that supply in a dying cause rather than running away without getting a battle themselves. So enough waffling. Germany's dice, they've got 1 dice at 6 from their bombist that misses spectacularly, 1 at 4 from their fighter. That misses as well. That's not a good start. In fact, the German fighter goes in at bomber goes in at a 5, but they still both missed. We've got the 2 tanks rolled in at 5 for Germany, and 1 of them has scored a hit. So finally, we've got something out of that 1 supply we've just spent. We've now got the anti-tank guns at a 3. Oh, it nearly landed on the 1. It ended up not doing that. So after that, I think all we've got left now is 2 mechanised infantry at 2s trying to save the day. That's a rather disappointing start, unless, nope, that's failed as well. So the Brits just lose the 1 guy from there, expecting to not be there. That's disappointing. We're now going to get the 2 British guys defending at 3s. Can they do something spectacular? They can score 1 hit out of that. That's really annoying for the German player. They're going to take that on one of their mechanised infantries. And I think, really, because we want to get into Ber Hashim to get this flanking attack onto Tobruk and maybe pressurising a little bit of M&Ms for later on, Germany are going to be spending 1 supply to continue with this attack. The Brits, well, lightning can't strike twice. It's harmed the Germans there by having to spend 2 supplies at this point in time. We've got 13 supplies in Tobruk. We don't necessarily need that 1 supply, but if we retreat, we're not going to get any kind of hitting backness. We're going to probably be lost anyway. So the Brits are going to spend that 1 supply from M&Ms. I think that's it's a dying cause. We salute you, sir, and we carry back on with Germany again, rolling their bomber in at a 5, not a 6, as I mentioned beforehand, and missing. Their fighter goes in at a 4 and scores a hit. So that's the end of the German battling done. The Brits get 1 dying roll at a 3 and score a hit. Wow, that's going to really annoy the Germans. I'd be annoyed too. So Germany lose that one. The UK lose that one. And these units move in to Ber Hashim, taking up positions. And I've got to think a little bit about where I land those fighters. I don't want to overcrush Benghazi port up here. We've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units in there. Are there 10 in Benghazi's attack limit? I believe it is. Yeah, 10. We start putting 2 pieces of air in there as well. That could be difficult, and they can't protect the Tripoli convoy zone on the deploy reinforcement phase later on. I'm in two minds here. Let me think about this and get back to you in a little bit. But I think I do all the non-com movers and everything off camera anyway. So I'll see you in a little bit. Yeah, so okay, after a bit of a faff, we did decide in the end to take these planes back into Al Alghira rather than Benghazi. We've got an artillery piece into Benghazi to give us some sort of flanking attack that's in there. And the German reinforcements are in the Tripoli convoy zone. I'm going to probably skip the whole of the British turn because I don't think there can be anything too exciting. They're not going to be attacking from Tobruk. They're probably just going to be moving their one fleet from 24 into mortar convoy zone, and probably an attack versus this submarine with our one destroyer that wants to try to get into that direction as far as the British players thinking us concerned. But I'll do all that off camera, and I'll most likely see you on the Italian turn when Benghazi has a pop at Tobruk. See you in a bit. Okay, quick cut and shut here. We are still on with the end of the British turn. We're not going to do the Tobruk attack just yet. But what I wanted to highlight was the importance of the British tactics of giving up on getting supplies into mortar on turn 2 to hopefully be more secure for the rest of the early turns in this game. Because obviously the UK do struggle with mortar getting supplies in there to give them those extra 15 RPs every round. And well, in their attack phase, they just took their one destroyer through from Sea Zone 3 to Sea Zone number 8. Versus this one German submarine. It took actually 5 dice rolls to finally get a result, and they both scored hits. German hitting with a 1, the Britain hitting with a 4. So these guys come off the board now. Britain also did buy for themselves a replacement destroyer in case something went wrong there, and luckily we needed it. The battle going back into Sea Zone number 12 was a much easier affair. We wiped out this one Italian submarine, no problem at all. But it does now mean, left in this mortar convoy zone, Britain have now deployed 3 supplies that were in their warehouse in Gibraltar and 1 anti-aircraft gun into the sea zone, with hopefully enough defence there to, if not defend an attack coming in, to dissuade an attack from coming in the first place. So that's really all that's happened for the UK, apart from a small skirmish from M&M's into Syria that with their scout cars, which didn't make any effect. So that's it for the UK. We will be on with the Italian attack into Tobruk in a moment's time. Well, I'm nothing if not capricious, and I think a good general should be open to changing their mind instantly at the last minute, whatever it's going to be, when things just weren't looking correct. And I think the attack into Tobruk from Benghazi by the Italians was going to be a skirmish attack anyway. But when I started looking at the numbers there was no way Italy were going to pull that attack off, and would even have potentially left the Benghazi open to be taken back by the UK forces. It would be a risky move by them, but keeping hold of those 4 RPs that are in there and the convoy port itself is probably more important than a skirmish attack trying to reduce some of those Brits down now before we're really ready to. And part of not being ready, I think, was a mistake in the earlier round by not deploying the Italian forces into the Benghazi convoy zone when we had the opportunity instead of going for Tripoli. There was good reason that threatening British fleet in Sea Zone 24, you can double think yourself too many times sometimes, but we're trying to redress that balance now, and we're thinking as the Axis side of it that we're going to be shifting our focus to the Benghazi convoy zone and Benghazi port later on. But we have to get those Germans off of a Tripoli convoy zone themselves before we can start shifting everything into Benghazi. So to that end, we've deployed our fighter into Benghazi to support our reinforcements coming in, and we put one of the fighters into the Tripoli convoy zone to help support the Germans that are in there. They should get enough units landed on their turn. And one of the fighters come down from Sicily into Al Alghira as well. That's going to be helping out with an attack into Tobruk at some point in time. And Italy also bought themselves one destroyer up there in Sea Zone number 10. That's going to be coming into effect and helping out to either defend Benghazi port or attack the Brits in mortar on turn number 3. But we'll see what happens when we get around to it. I'm getting too far ahead of myself as per usual. So that will be it for turn number 2. I will see you in video number 3 coming up. Till then, be cool.